Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time News. Harry McCullough here. A couple of incidents that have happened in Lafourche Parish, and we want to get the update from Captain Brennan Mathern, the Public Information Officer for our Lafourche Parish Sheriffs. A couple of things that happened, one in Bayou Blue and the other right off a cutoff, right, Brennan?
Yes, sir. The second of the two incidents happened in Bayou Blue, as you mentioned. This occurred on March 29th. We arrested 32-year-old Zachary Frugier of Bayou Blue. Ultimately, we initially responded to a disturbance on Louise Lane in Bayou Blue. En route, deputies learned that he had pointed a gun at a woman's head and threatened to kill her. It's important to note, as you're seeing the location here, it's important to note that the victim was known to Frugier in the home. There was actually a protective order against Frugier, trying to protect him from the woman. She tried to call 911, and in the process, once he found out that she had called 911, he pointed a gun at her head, threatened to kill her. Ultimately, she did escape to a neighbor's home where she was able to, again, call for assistance. When deputies arrived, they did find Frugier, and he was compliant. They took him into custody, and after the investigation revealed the facts of the case, Frugier was ultimately arrested. He was charged with several crimes in this matter, including armed robbery, because during the commission of the crime where he was holding the gun to her head, he actually stole $700 from her purse. He also knocked her over the head a couple of times with the firearm. So he faces a charge of aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon, aggravated assault for the threat on her life. And he was also a convicted felon. So it was possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. This was actually the second time in a short time span that he went to the home. So he essentially violated the protective order twice. So he also faces 2 counts of violation of the protective order. He's now in jail with his bail set at $276,000.
Wow. So, that shows you how things can add up like that, and committing another mistake after another mistake. And like I say, now he's in pretty big trouble and facing a lot of charges, I'm sure. So the next arrest happened, I guess, the next day, or is that right?
The day before, yes. The day before, on March 28th, our narcotics agents essentially executed a search warrant at a cutoff residence. They had been investigating a 38-year-old Brandon Kidd of Cutoff for quite some time, obviously, in relation to distribution of narcotics. They had obtained a warrant for distribution of methamphetamine, as well as a search warrant for his residence on East 59th Street. So on March 28th, the agents, along with some patrol deputies, proceeded to the home to execute that search warrant and attempt to take him into custody. When they arrived, they did take Kidd into custody without incident. He was cooperative with the search of the residence, and they found a ton of stuff. When you're looking at the picture now, and that includes marijuana, mushrooms, methamphetamine, clonazepam, hydrocodone pills, hash powder, even generic form of Viagra. You also see the 8 firearms they recovered, along with nearly $1,700 in cash and plenty of drug paraphernalia as well. He was ultimately booked with possession with intent to distribute all of the aforementioned drugs, possession of a legend drug being the generic version of Viagra, possession of drug paraphernalia, and obviously illegal carrying of a weapon in the presence of a controlled dangerous substance. So once again, Harry, you see the charges kind of stack up in this case. He was actually arrested, and his bail is also set at over $200,000. His bail is at $206,100.
When you see a guy like a kid, 38 years old, and you see what was picked up from his house, does this put a dent kind of in the market, or is this just something we have an underlying issue that we got to take care of in our society?
Well, essentially, I mean, any drug arrest that we put time and effort to, we hope is putting somewhat of a dent in the market. We recognize that there's dealers at every level, right? I mean, you have the low-level street dealers all the way up to the high-level distributors. And we see all levels of that at work in Lafourche Parish, like anywhere else, to be frank about it. So anytime that we can make an arrest, we hope that that results in more arrests, whether we're able to connect individuals to this individual or like you said, if we're able to put a dent in that market, maybe flush some things out and ultimately make additional arrests with regards to drug activity. It's, we've heard since the 80s and 90s about the war on drugs, but it's really just a never-ending war. Right. It's a battle that we're going to constantly have forever. And as law enforcement, it can be frustrating. And these are the most unique kinds of investigations that we do. Narcotics investigations are unlike anything else that we deal with. So it gets complicated, it's tedious, and it takes time. And that's the most frustrating thing for the public, I know. But just know that our agents are working very much so, very tenaciously to try to find these dealers at every level and try to put a dent in that market, as you said.
Yeah, and I guess that is part of police work, right? Is when you get a suspect like this, you interrogate him, you see where it kind of leads, and hopefully that's what part of plea bargaining, that kind of stuff can lead to other things where they can really make a dent into what's happening in those communities. So yeah, when you see all those guns, it gets scary when you know that's kind of things are happening as well. Well, Brendan, we appreciate your time and the update. Like I say, two serious people that have now been taken off the street for the time being. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Harry. We appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.